Hi everyone, before we get started on this week's podcast, I wanted to let you know about a very special podcast we've got coming up. We're going to be doing a live edition of the podcast on Sunday, the 18th of December at 9 p.m. UK time. Get that in your diaries, join us then, and if you want to join us literally on the show as a guest, then slide into our DMs at MildlyPod on all the socials, or send us an email to mildlypodcast@gmail.com. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and why you want to come on the show.
I actually learned today, I was really angry to find that on my Christmas advent calendar, there was only 24 windows. 24 windows. Is anybody listening to these words? You want me to open my advent calendar on the 24th in the morning and then go, oh, what? Should I just keep it fucking here? and it literally belongs in the recycling at that point. You've actually brought my spirit down. Because the thing that I've been working on is gone, and I've got 24 hours until anything takes over.
Having the same thing in your advent calendar every single day, it's like someone just buying you one of those bags of Maltesers that you get at the cinema and only letting you eat one a day. What's the fucking point? I started this podcast, Joshua, by describing the three of us as friends, and you've just described me and Baz as pub-loving twats. Hello, and welcome to the Mildly Controversial podcast. This week, we have a very special guest, and that very special guest is a good friend of ours. He's a man named Joshua Cubed. I think officially that is his actual name these days. If it's not yet, it will be very soon. Joshua is a good friend of ours. We met through TikTok. Baz and I met him through TikTok, and we recorded a very splendid TV show with him. Which, if you want to look it up, it's on All 4. It's called Richard Hammond's Crazy Contraptions, or if you're in America, on Discovery Plus, it's called Contraption Masters. So go and have a look at that. It's pretty good, and we were really funny on it. So, Joshua, welcome. Welcome back. Joshua, you are officially the person who's been on this podcast more than anybody else, but never in its new guise of the Mildly Controversial podcast. So we had to get you back again.
I'm proud. I'm proud. I'm glad to be back with you guys. The team is back together. Team social mediocrity is more mediocre than ever, and let's prove that point.
Absolutely. Well, you know, it's never as mediocre with only two of us. It can only be the team social mediocrity can only gets its mediocrity from the sum of the three of us. It's a bit like a transformer. You know, what's the big one called where it's made up of loads of the other ones? It's that.
Megabaz.
There you go.
Sorry. It's one or the other.
Megabaz. That's what I call him, actually. That's a coincidence. Right. So, yes, if you haven't, if for some reason you haven't heard of Joshua, if you go onto TikTok or Instagram, search Joshua Cubed, he is I love your content. Honestly, I'm a kid at heart, same as you. So I love all your little games and your puzzles and things like that. So he is a Rubik's ambassador, really into puzzles and does loads of really interesting stuff like that. So go and check him out. But for the time being, we're only interested in his mildly controversial opinions. So let's get straight into it. Joshua, what's your first mildly controversial opinion?
I'd like to start you off with something that's really irritated me since I could first step foot in a pub, so about 11 or 12. What happens when someone smashes a glass?
Half the room applaud and cheer.
Oh, believe me, I shake my head at every opportunity, and I look down and I think, this is the one thing that brings us down as a nation. It makes no sense. There's no understanding as to why we do it. If anything, it embarrasses the person that did it more than it could ever have done so. And I feel like we lose some dignity in the process. I've had enough of it.
I've been in many a public house with you, Joshua, but never, unfortunately, never when somebody has done that, to see you just sit there and become the most judgmental and disapproving person in the world. The scum that have cheered at somebody's misfortune.
But you say judgmental and disapproving are the thing that makes me British, not the ability to randomly cheer when someone breaks a glass.
I think it stems back from when we were kids, all at school in the dinner hall, because that's where I always remember it starting. Is like if one of the dinner or someone in the kitchen dropped some plates, everybody in the dining room just erupted into a huge roar.
If you are listening in a country that isn't the UK or Ireland, is this a thing in other countries? I'd love to find out. Let us know if somebody drops a glass in a bar, or a tray of drinks in a bar, or a bartender drops some glasses behind the bar. Is there a like that in other countries? I'd love to know if that is, or if it is just a British thing.
As far as I know, it's incredibly British. Like, it's something that I have seen it scare people before. I've seen it actually be, there'll be a glass smash, everyone will immediately, as if they've broken away from a tableau in stage in a theatre performance, gone, "Aah!" and then gone back to their drink and conversations, and it's nothing at all. However, what you get is a bunch of foreigners go, what's happening? Like, are we evacuating? Like, what's happening here? Because there's no explanation. It's a very short burst of energy that just comes out of nowhere and is ingrained into us rather than an option. And I want that option back.
Do you know what? There are many things I love about Joshua. One of them was just demonstrated so well. There was when he said, it's like when it's like there's a breakaway from a tableau on stage. And in my head, there's just, when Homer Simpson's got the monkey on a bike, ride on a tricycle ride. I was like, I've no idea what that meant, but it was beautiful. But it wasn't the right metaphor for me. Lost me on that one.
I think you're going to be a cheerer, aren't you? You're going to be a cheering person. I think that tells the difference between the cheerer and the non-cheerer.
I'm not revealing my cards just yet. I'm keeping mine close to my chest. Baz, what are your thoughts?
Well, there's a couple of things in there. I mean, like, I don't know if Joshua thinks there should be a celebration at all. That's not cheering, but I see it along the same lines as, if you're in a restaurant and the wait and staff bring out a cake and the whole restaurant sing happy birthday. I mean, that's weird as well, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So you end up singing happy birthday to whoever, and that's it.
Dear someone,
yeah,
happy birthday to.
I sort of like that. Not against that one. I feel like that brings a new level of camaraderie. You go, okay, yeah, come on, it's someone's birthday. Next time it'll be your birthday, and you're going to want the same thing. But even that is a way of embarrassing someone.
Yeah,
and that's sweeter because at least it's their birthday, and they're probably not paying for the drinks. They're already a bit drunk. The embarrassment with the glass comes to the poor person who's gone, oh no, not everyone, not every single person I can imagine.
I hope nobody noticed. Oh no, there's a massive cheer.
Yeah.
There's only one step beyond this, is that sometimes the cheer is followed by somebody shouting, "Sack the juggler."
I've never heard that.
No,
never heard. Is this a northern thing?
I don't know. I didn't think it was.
Oh, I love that though. I love it.
It's quite a good phrase, actually.
Sack the juggler. No, stop being a prick.
I was going to say that, so we need to find out if that is a northern thing, because like myself and Josh are both obviously Southerners. We've never heard it. If you know the origins of that, just email the answer into.
Yeah, exactly. If you've
I love
heard
email plugs.
Yeah, if you've heard people shouting "sack the juggler" when somebody drops a load of glasses in a pub, can you email us at mildlypodcast@gmail.com and let me know where you're from? Because I'm feeling a bit kind of isolated now. I thought that was a general thing that everybody did.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody did. I thought it was something that people did, that people got irritated by, but I thought it was maybe it's just one bloke.
I think it's one bloke. I think it's one guy.
And I've been in the same pub as him. Maybe he lives in Bury, and I've been in the same pub as him 2 or 3 times when someone's dropped a glass. Going back to cheering when somebody drops a load of glasses. I think I agree. I think it's a pretty. I think the best word I can find is lame. It's just kind of like, when people go, "Ray," I was just like, oh, really? And I reckon it's the same people who clap when a plane lands as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Joshua's gone, no, shit, I do that. I better keep quiet.
Actually, that's exactly what I thought. I have clapped on a couple of occasions, but that's just because you're landing. On the way back, I go, no, let's get off this plane. Let's get off this plane.
Joshua, we've covered this before. Like clapping when a pilot lands a plane is equivalent to clapping when a taxi driver pulls up outside the pub you've asked him to. It's his job. He does it every fucking day. Do you know what I mean? It's not hard. It's like walking in, it's like, it's like going to a librarian and say, have you got any books on this? Yeah. And they point where it is and you go, thank you. Thanks very much. Well done.
What if the pilots got used to the applause and thanks to you, the applause starts waning and they're thinking, maybe I'm not doing something right anymore. So they start changing their technique and the next time they crash because they're trying to up their game.
So next time he said that he's gone like, nobody clapped last time. Fuck this. I'm doing a loop on this landing. That's it.
I'm not putting the gear down. I'm going to land on the fuselage.
Yeah, exactly. We want sparks of fuselage against runway.
Yeah,
okay,
but I was going to say, as in terms of that, of cheering as an adult when someone drops glasses in a pub, just grow up, is what we're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're in consensus that.
I'm really shocked, by the way. I really thought when I thought this one, I thought those pub loving twats, they're gonna go. All right. I also wonder for you two, is the answer to this question based on how many pints you've had?
No, I'm definitely not a cheerer. I'm a
okay, good.
I judge people who cheer. I judge them in a different way to you. In terms and I do love the fact that I started this podcast, Joshua, by describing the three of us as friends, and you've just described me and Baz as pub loving twats.
I'm a pub loving twat. You know I am. I'm trying to put it onto you guys.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm thinking of updating my Instagram bio with pub loving twat 48 Ireland. That's all I need.
That'd be the name of our band, wouldn't it? Pub loving twats.
Pub loving twats. Certainly the first album. Anyway, brilliant. Look. I think we're all agreed that if you are the type of person who gives a big cheer when somebody inadvertently smashes a load of glasses in a pub, then you are a twat, whether you love pubs or not. I think that's the final word on that one. There you go. There's a final line on that. Okay, I think I'll come in with one now. Just because it's not all about Joshua. It's my fucking podcast. Right. Oh, so this is one that I experienced quite recently. As you will know, last week's podcast, me and Baz were in the same room. So that involved me getting on an aeroplane. Two, in fact, one there, one back. That's how it works. Okay, so this is people who don't know how to do the security thing. Just because there's so many things, right? Most people have been on a plane on a regular basis, or maybe not regular, but most people have been on a plane. Even if you haven't been on a plane, the instructions of getting through security are very clear because it's been very widely publicized, all the issues that they've had getting so many people through security, right? So it's very clear what you've got to do, right? Yet you still get people who get to the thing and their luggage goes down the wrong side. Do you know when it comes through and you've got the little fucking drum roll when it's sat there thinking, oh, is it going to come down to me? Is it going to come down to me? And then it slides sideways and goes down the naughty boy section. Do you know what I mean? When it comes down, oh, shit, what have I left in there? Do you know what I mean? And then you get someone pulls out like a litre bottle of vodka or a Kindle.
Yep.
Or one of those massive portable chargers for your phone. I was like, they couldn't have been more clear about what you had to take out of your bag to stop this happening. And then they start kicking off. They're just like, oh, I'm going to miss my flight. Well, you shouldn't have been such a dick then, should you? You should have just followed instructions and you wouldn't be held up now. So that's one thing, is people who they don't know that, or they don't listen to what you've got to take out your bag. So they get all stressy about the fact that it's taking them ages at security, but it's their fault. But there's other people who, two other ones that probably don't annoy people as much as me, because I'm quite a picky person with stuff like that. I get annoyed quite easily about little things, hence the podcast. Another one is people who don't put the tray back in the little thing.
Oh.
So you just I got there. I was on my way back. I was flying from Manchester back to Belfast, right? And you know that, like, when it comes down the little rolly thing, all the little rollers, like when people just take their stuff and fuck off. And I was just like, my bag is right at the top of the rollers, and it can't get down here because there's 4 empty trays here because you've just walked off, you selfish bastards. You know what I mean? I just think there's just no need. It's just so inconsiderate. It's like not taking your trolley back in a supermarket car park times by 10. That's what it is. It's that level of selfishness. And then the final one is, it's a very similar selfish thing, but it's like, you know, all right, at every single airport, they've got like repacking area away from the belt. But it's when people start getting fucking dressed, stood at the belt, and you're there, like, my bag's literally there. If you get out of the way, I can reach it. But they're there putting the coins back in the pocket. They're putting the belt back on. They're putting the coat. I was just like, literally get the fuck out of my way, sunshine. My bag is there, and I can't get it because you're getting dressed in front of me. So all of those people can fuck off. I think, in summary, is what I'm trying to say.
I think you have a fairly strong, an incredibly strong argument, and you know that point was elaborated in 3 folds. So I mean, yeah, absolutely. But and I am also someone, as you may remember, my pockets are often full of crap. My pockets are often full of like weird things that at some point I need to do something with, and I just think so. When I go to an airport, I have to like scoop out a pocket and then drop them like coins into it. So I have like, it's almost like I'm digging for gold. You know, I have like a whole tray full of things, and it's already a problem. It's already a problem. So and no matter what happens to me, I will beep. And this is the problem. I feel guilty because I am a conscientious person. Especially, I'm nicer to strangers than I am to people. So to my friends or family. So to me, I feel very guilty that I always get the beep. I have to go back and to figure out what's going on, what is currently on me that's going to cause a problem. I'm absolutely on board, and I think that's. Security is something that we all just have to go, look, get your bloody belt off and let's get on this fucking plane.
Bas, what's your thoughts?
Well, similar to both of you, it's whenever you go to an airport, the system doesn't change that much, does it? I mean, like it used to be during the times when security was heightened, you know, back in sort of the 9/11 days, everything had to come off. You couldn't go through with anything. So I just make sure whenever I get to a tray, I literally take my belt off, my watch off, my wallet goes in, my phone, change, everything in my pocket. I take my shoes off, they go in, hat off, glasses, the whole lot.
I've got a vision of Baz just going through that kind of security thing just in a mankini.
Yeah, exactly.
I just took it all off just to make sure.
I feel like he'd puff up so he can't go through as well. It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
But it's that thing, isn't it? It's when you get the person in front of you, they've clearly... well, I'm not saying they've clearly been on a plane, but most people have. You can guarantee that most people have flown at some point in their life, and they're there still wearing the shoes, the belt, the watch, chains, anything else. And then when they go to the actual scanner, they get sent back, and they're like, "Oh, what?" But rather than going, "Oh, it's probably all of these things," they just do one thing, then go through with the belt. They have to go back. Oh no, it's a belt. Now it's a watch. Now it's this. Now it's that. I've got a lighter in my pocket. I've seen people try to go through with phones. It's like, hang on a minute, just put every fucking thing in that tray. And like I say, when you get off the other end, grab the tray, both of them, and fucking walk off with both of them and find a bench.
Get out of everybody's way.
Exactly. And yet you get those people, like you say, that are there, stood there at the end of the rollers, putting everything back on, or going through all their stuff. And you're like, fuck off.
Right. Are you ready for my absolute fucking reveration?
Yeah.
Yes,
right.
Please.
Belfast International Airport, flying over to Manchester. I obviously had to take quite a lot of stuff over with me, electrical stuff, because I was recording last week's podcast with Baz. So I had to take this microphone stand, all of that kind of stuff, laptop, loads of electrical stuff. I got to the security thing, stood on my little number, got my tray out. Got my I was hand luggage only, so I got my hand luggage, started to unzip it, started to pull stuff out, and he went, "You don't need to take any of that out, mate." I thought, what? He goes, "We got new scanners, leave it all in there."
Wow.
So there are new scanners, ladies and gentlemen. If you did not know this is coming to an airport near you, and for some reason, Belfast International Airport, which is about the size of a B&Q, is one of the first to have it. Right? But basically it said, and you can leave all your liquids in there. You don't need to put them in a little plastic bag anymore. Leave, as long as they're not over 100 mil, just leave them in there. My microphone, my phone, my laptop, everything. Just leave it in there. Send your bag through. We've got a new scanner. It does it all.
Nice.
Oh, Jesus Christ. We all got to
That, my
move.
friends.
We've all got to move.
That, my friends, is the future. I presume that is what is coming to airports around the world. And who knows? It may already be another. We may have people in the States who, in fact, yeah, we've had that shit for years, mate. What are you talking about? But
Yeah.
Well, they don't even have contactless payments. I wouldn't think they have anything. I don't know.
no,
Come
no,
on.
exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. You know, they're still signing their name to pay for shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bonkers.
Yeah, their scanners are set up so if it's shaped like a gun, it'll detect you. Anything else is fine.
Yeah, well, the gun's fine. You can take your gun on. Gosh, can. Anyway, I think we're regressing back into the
abusing America once more. Yeah.
I think, to be honest, bearing in mind that about 25% of our listeners are from the States, we should probably stop taking the piss out of the Americans since we did an entire show on it last week. But yeah, okay, so yeah, if you are guilty of not knowing what you've got to take out and getting dressed in everybody's way and leaving your tray when you should put it away, you are a dickhead, but the good news is you won't be a problem for much longer because the magic scanners are coming. So,
oh yeah, but they're just going to cause more trouble because people would be getting all their stuff out, going, "Oh, I don't understand this. I've always had to get this out."
Yes. So the moment the new scanners come in, that they don't have to take all that shit off, they'll be there taking everything out of their bag, thinking they need to. It wouldn't surprise me, Pass. Right, Joshua.
Another one.
Let's hear your next one, mate.
Well, this is an unsurprising one for you two who witnessed me witnessing a sunrise once upon a time. What I'm suggesting forward here is quite simply just morning bastards, just morning bastards, and I don't just mean it's not just them. Like, hello, it's 5 a.m. Let's have some fun. It's not just that attitude, which is outrageous in itself. It's also the degrading of anyone who doesn't agree with that mantra. You know, it's like, oh well, maybe you should see a therapist and fix that. And I go, well, I actually have the same hours of sleep as you. I just happen to do it at a slightly different phase. Do you need me to get a job as a nurse just to have a reason? Do I have to? If I'm productive and I work in my time, aren't I absolutely fine? And it's just that the fact that they know they are simply more superior human beings. Sadly, the electric light was invented. So move on. That's my point. Move on.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I mean, I was going to say I'm more of a morning person than you, but I mean, that's literally like me saying I know morning exists. But yeah, I mean, I'm not one of these who gets really, really early, but you know, I tend to be, even if I've been out on the piss and I'm hungover or whatever, like I would still tend to wake up about 7, 8 o'clock at the latest. But yeah, I'm joining you on this, and the reason it is because, you know, when you see these kind of motivational people on social media, and they're just
up at 4 and bathe yourself in ice.
Oh,
yeah.
They're just like, like, you know, the secret to my success is I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, I have an ice bath, then I meditate, then I do this, then I do that, then I do that. I was like, and it's like, yeah, but do you know what? They never tell you what time they got to fucking bed, because they must go to bed about 9 o'clock at night.
Exactly.
So I tell you what, do yourself a favor, get up at 8, do the same shit at 8 o'clock. You don't need to get up at 4 to do it. I don't get it. And they go like, and occasionally you'll hear them like give a justification, but it's like, oh yeah, but you get so much done before most other people get up. I was like, yeah, and you also do nothing whilst people are still doing stuff after 9 o'clock because you've gone to bed, you dick. That's how it works. Do you know what I mean? You've literally it's not a revelation. It's not like the way to be successful. All you've done is you are just living in a time zone that you don't actually live in. Do you know what I mean? That's all it is, and that's all you do, Joshua. You know what I mean?
Because if a human wants to get up and break that cycle, they'll just do it. You know, I will. If I have to, I will get up and I will just do it. Yes, I will complain for large portions of that time.
We've seen
We saw that, didn't we, Baz?
Yeah.
We saw an awful lot of that in the filming of the TV show. So, for those that don't know, I mentioned the TV show earlier. The filming schedule was we had to be at the studio for 8 a.m.
Yeah.
So they'd come and pick us up at like 7:30 or whatever, which means you got to go down for breakfast earlier than that. And Joshua was just like, Joshua thought it was a revelation that the sun comes up. He thought the sun was just there and then disappeared. He didn't actually, he had no evidence whatsoever of the sun coming up in the first place.
Yeah, I was a flat earther until that point. Thanks, guys.
It was a no sunriser.
What was dead funny is this, like on both occasions I had to go past Joshua's room in the morning. So as I was leaving to go out, I'd always tap on his door. Are you all right? Yeah, don't worry, I'm up. And he'd open the door and he wouldn't have his boots on. He wouldn't be fully dressed.
Yeah, I'd look him angrily in the eye as I put them on. Like, it's all his fucking fault. This guy making me get up at this time.
Ironically, Joshua, it's all your fault because you're the one that got us into the TV show in the first place. So it was your fault.
It's all my fault. But it comes back round to Baz, who drugged us every evening with his favourite concoctions, which is just simply rum and coke. People,
I do believe,
yeah. Just in case people are wondering. That strange description was that we ended up at Baz's hotel room every single night in filming this thing, getting smashed on Morgan Spice and Coke.
And had it not been for this, and if you're on YouTube, you can see this, we probably would have won that show.
Yeah, it's possible. It is possible.
Yeah, we'll see. My favourite illustration of how not great in the mornings Joshua is that someone had to go and wake him up on set partway through filming because it doesn't look good that the fact you're asleep on a settee that is meant to be where the presenters sit.
Oh, it's high quality stuff. If it's good enough for Richard Hammond's arse, it's probably good enough for 20 minutes of recuperation.
Yeah, so getting onto this sort of morning thing, yeah, I agree with you. Those people, then you can listen. They're like Mark Wahlberg's got that great thing. I get up at 3 and I do 1,000 things before anybody else gets up, and then I do this, that, and the other. I'm like, well, good for you. I mean,
but the thing is, right? Is that like, I get up at 3 and I do loads of these things before anyone wakes up. It's like, no. You're just getting up before anyone who lives where you do gets up. There's fucking loads of people who are awake in different parts of the world. You just change your time zones, you dick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Doesn't make any sense to me. Who am I to argue with an inspirational entrepreneurial guru or whatever like that who's got a million cars and massive houses and stuff, and he says that the secret is waking up at 3 a.m. and doing this, that, and the other. I was like, mate, you literally could do exactly the same thing by getting up at 8. And you're just like, you know, if you're saying like, I get all this done before people wake up and then I get busy. It was like, well, get up at 8 and just tell people to not fucking bother you until midday. Get all your stuff done that you were doing anyway. It doesn't make any sense to me.
So yeah, even as a morning person, I agree. Stop fucking getting up that early and telling everybody else that you're better than they are because you've been up all that time.
But that's the key, Baz. That's the key, and I think that is why, again, we as the Mildly Controversial podcast are rubber stamping this one as approved.
Yeah,
that it's just like, look, if you want to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and be like and do your thing, go for it, right?
Yeah,
but just do it quietly. You don't need to tell everyone who's asleep all that time. You know what I mean? Wait for people to wake up and go, ha! I've been awake for 4 hours doing this. That. I don't fucking care. I've been asleep and I feel amazing. Thanks.
Yeah, and also come and join me and drink in my room till 3 a.m, then get up at 4.
Yeah.
Wasting your time inspiring people and making money. You could be pissing your life away like me and my mates. But we do it with a smile.
Well, that one definitely gets the podcast seal of approval.
Absolutely.
Thank you
100%.
very much, chaps. More than glad. Thank you very much.
Do you want one from me then?
Yes, Baz.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cool.
I'm going down the sexual route here, and it is basically another. Oh yeah, well no, it's
Baz. Before you go anywhere, please be aware that I'm going down the sexual route here is all I'm going to clip out of this as your highlights for the week.
Right, so I'm saying this. In the bedroom, giving is not better than receiving. I'm just saying that.
But Baz, before Joshua and I join in, I'd like you to expand on that.
Yeah, I think I need more expansion
because at the
to know what I'm
moment,
arguing with.
at the moment I have far more questions than answers. So I need you to expand.
Well, it's based on that kind of really wanky statement, isn't it? About like from people who consider themselves better lovers because they're happier to give and not receive. So it just about covers everything sexually. It's how frank do we want to be here?
Frank enough at shaking here.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to talk euphemistically, so we don't get kicked off a number of the audio podcasts.
Yeah, okay. I think eating the pie is better than feeding someone the pie.
Wait, what? Don't you mean the other way around?
It's somewhere in that region. I'm trying to.
I think you mean the other way around.
Something. I think you've got lost in your own euphemism there, Baz.
Well, yeah, but it's kind of hard to cover that one. Like,
okay.
Getting a blowjob's better than giving head. Then okay.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Just to cover all the bases in case I didn't say it in as many ways as I could.
Yes.
I love the fact there, Baz, you got so wrapped up in your own euphemism, it got confusing. So you just got rid of euphemisms altogether and went for it, which is fine. I think we're okay with what you just said, by the way.
You can always put bleeps over those bits, can't you?
And I think we're okay with that. It's not like it's that wasn't too graphic.
Yeah. So no, it's just that statement that like you get certain people going, oh, it's much better to give than receive in the bedroom. I'm like, not for me, it's not.
Well, Christmas is coming up. I'd much rather give my presents in the living room rather than the bedroom. So, but I would
surrounded
much rather,
by the family.
But I would much rather receive presents than give presents. So it's the same thing.
There you go. Yeah, there's a better euphemism. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, it's just okay. Oh yes.
I'm pleased about this.
Joshua, Joshua, you better go next because
you need time.
I'm fully aware that my 12-year-old son listens to this podcast, so I'm going to have to take some time to consider my response to this.
I think I have to absolutely agree with you, Baz, based on the fact that this idea of the opposite, you're saying giving is better, surely is there as kind of in itself as an idea of foreplay and niceness. It's its own idea of, oh, I'm going to be so good to you, only to ultimately be selfish in the end. I just think it's not really truthful when people say that. I just don't think it's likely to be so. Sure, you're allowed to enjoy something like that, but it's not physically stimulating. Instead, it's mentally stimulating, knowing you're doing a good job to ultimately allow it back onto you. Right? It's just a way back round to you, to the thing we were talking, to the other thing, to the receiving. So I think really I have to agree with you that the only reason the giving can feel good is mostly knowing that you can be allowed to be selfish. And I feel like that's further selfish than you were even implying. But that is it. I think it's a mask. It's a mask people wear just to allow themselves to be more selfish later on.
Yeah, I think you've given Mike plenty of time to think about this now.
and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let you two talk about it, and I'm taking the Fifth Amendment on this one. I'm going to.
The podcast doesn't condone the Constitution.
I'm going to exercise my right to say, all right, it's either the take the fifth, use the Fifth Amendment, or it's my right to, like when you see those those reality cop shows on Quest and shit, on the high numbers on Sky late at night, and you get that really annoying scrote who just sits there, slumps back in his seat, goes, no comment. No comment. Well, my comment on this one, boys, is no comment.
Well said.
I'm not pussying out of anything. I'm not. But let's say my 12-year-old son listens to this, and it's not that I don't want to talk about stuff that 12-year-old boy shouldn't hear. It's, can you imagine how much emotional damage should I go into detail about me and his mum? I'll leave it there. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't need to hear anything about that. So I need to step away from this conversation.
Yeah, I guess I'm just highlighting the fact that people that say it with a certain kind of meaning and makes them more special because they're giving, and I'd much rather give than receive.
Yeah, I bet those fuckers get up at 3:00 in the morning and they think they're better than us anyway.
It's the same people. It's the same
people, right? It's like,
because they're definitely not up at night having any fun, are they?
Rubber stamps approved. Same people.
Yeah, I think, well, based on the fact that it's just going to be... luckily, the fact I agree with Baz, because we don't need to go to a third vote regardless of the situation. So I think it surely is approved in your standards.
It is. It's approved to 2 voting in favour and 1 abstention. There you go. All right, Joshua, let's see what you got next.
Oh, yeah. These are all close to my heart, All of these have been very dear to me so far. And this one, and I know I have to single out the last ones were morning bastards. These ones I'm going to call, anti-rain wankers. Right. So, what is it about the rain that offends people so much? It's not just the rain, and I know you live in Ireland. That's going to be a prevalent factor in this discussion. But moreover, it's the fact that they tell us it's going to rain. You look at your phone every day, and it's like 70%, then 80%, then 20%, then 60%, and you're thinking, oh, it's raining all the bloody time. As someone who likes the rain, that is who I am. I adore the rain. It never rains. I can't explain this enough. It doesn't rain. It never rains enough, nowhere near enough. So who is complaining about it? Why are you complaining about it? And why can't you just be glad? Because also the rain brings in a degree of cloud cover, and in the winter that will keep the heat in at the night. So that's why it won't be so freezing cold. And obviously I am up at night, which correlates with the other one. So, I'm a lover of rain for that reason. There are certain rains which are awful, but I'm just saying rain, rain that just brings life and it's nice and dollopy, drip, drip, drop, little April showers, nice stuff. Why you got to bitch about it all the time?
I'll take this one first. So, as someone who works outside, there are times where I can't abide the rain, because working in the rain and having to go out in the rain when you're doing something is awful. But I agree with you. Like, how do we call it? Recreational rain, I'm going to call it, because that's not a thing. But so
that sounds like a euphemism when we're back onto the previous subject.
Back on, yeah.
Yeah, so those times when it rains where you don't have to be in it, then you can go in it. I mean, I love summer rain. I love that thing where it's like it's warm and you can just go out and get absolutely soaking wet and you don't have to give a shit about it. But yeah, I agree. It's people that use the rain as the excuse for everything that goes on, particularly in Britain. We're sort of born here to the weather's shit. Let's talk about the weather for 14 hours. And then by the time you finish talking about it, it's stopped raining anyway.
It rarely rains in big bulk, Where is this whole 40 days and 40 nights? Come on, Noah. It's not likely, buddy. It's not the way it went. It depends where you are. But also, it just, when it rains, especially in this country, we do get a lot of rainfall, but it's so intermittent, so pathetic. It's actually embarrassing. It's actually an embarrassing level of rain. You want to write to the Met Office and say, come on, buddies, let's not write that down as rain, because that was embarrassing. It's just a light shimmer. Someone's just throwing some water out of a window. Let's not mark this down. It's not a big event. Let's let it go. So whereas other countries are like bang, 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 and it's terrifying. You're running through the streets. I understand their problems because they're not used to it, and maybe the agriculture's not ready for it, and all sorts of things. But for us, it's just not a problem. It's just not a thing. And it's just a little. I don't like certain rain. I have to admit, I don't like certain windy rains with mist. That is gonna grind my gears. But otherwise, it's just smooth, like moisture of my skin. I have dry. You guys know I have dry skin. It's very useful to head outside and go. There we go.
I also think it stems back from an Alanis Morissette lyric. Let's go for that one. Rain on your wedding day. I think people take stuff like that. Go, it always fucking rains when you don't want it to rain. No, I agree with you. It doesn't always rain when you don't want it to rain. Sometimes it doesn't rain when you do want it to rain. Mike, as someone who lives in Ireland, tell us about rain.
I lived for a vast majority of my. When did I move here? I moved here when I was 45, and the vast majority of that, apart from university, was living just north of Manchester, which has a reputation for a lot of rain, but apparently has less rainfall than London. So there we go.
Wow.
But
what a claim to fame.
there you
Wow.
go. Yeah, and it's also much less shit than London. But let's not get onto that. Sorry, the mildly fell off the mildly controversial there. That happens sometimes. No, I moved from just north of Manchester, a town called Bury, just north of Manchester, to Ireland. So yeah, I'm well used to rain. I know what rain is. But when I moved over here and I started playing golf, and I was like, I am a bit obsessed with rain in terms of, the percentage of rain, because I don't mind if it rains a bit. I mean, there is a level of rain that I refer to as watery sunshine over here, because if you say I'm not playing golf when it's raining and you live in the northwest of Ireland by the Atlantic coast, you'll never fucking play golf. So you got to accept a little bit. But one of the things I've noticed here, because like I say, we're 20 minutes away from 30 minutes away from the Atlantic coast. So we're the first to get the weather. The weather pretty much comes that way, hits us, and then it hits the UK. And because it comes really quickly and goes really quickly as well. So I've noticed this from playing golf. It's like if the weather says it's going to rain, quite often it'll rain for like 15 minutes and then it'll be gone. And it'll be over to you lot in the UK, and it'll slow down by that point. So it rains for longer where you are. It rains a lot where we are, but
beautiful.
Not for very long.
So beautiful, yeah. Love it nice and slow.
I don't mind the rain. It's in fact, the golf course I play at, the drainage isn't particularly good. So when it gets a lot of rain, it gets quite muddy and in places and things like that. And that is the reason that I still play golf. Even I played golf yesterday in shorts, and I get funny looks. I get funny looks from golf from the people at the golf club because I've got long hair. But yeah, when they see me
like a Manchester raver.
Yeah, when they see me in the shorts, they're just like, "Fucking hell, what is he doing?" But I have a very, very good logic behind this. Right, is that I've got 3 pairs of long trousers, right, that I used to wear for golf. And they've all been ruined by mud up the inside of the kind of knee downwards, right? Up the inside of that. And they've been ruined. It doesn't matter how many times you put them through the washing machine, the mud doesn't come off anymore. And it's just they're ruined. So I'm just like, well, my legs clean much better than trousers do. So I just wear shorts. And on cold days, I'll just wear long socks, pull them up. And then I could throw my socks in the washing machine. And So I mean, I've given up. My days of trying to look cool are long gone. Don't worry about that.
Can't you wear Wellingtons? A real man wears Wellingtons.
Wellingtons. Joshua, I fucking love you, right?
I've got Wellingtons.
Not just.
I wear them in London.
Joshua, not just for the naivety to think you could play golf wearing wellies, but also the fact that you call them Wellingtons. Joshua, you are just far too posh to be my friend.
But wellies rhymed with bellies, and no one likes that. It's just not going to work. Come on.
And there you go.
Sexy about welly.
And there you go, Joshua.
Give it some welly. Just say give it some welly. That's
and there you are, Joshua. Like the edited highlight. Yours is wellies rhymes with bellies, and nobody likes that. There you go. There's yours. I've already got these up here. These are the edited highlights already. I'm already working on the editing of this podcast, and we haven't even finished it.
Happily call my first child Wellington. Happily call my first. I've never called them Welly.
Well, I'm sort of known for my sartorial elegance, and I will wear Wellington boots and shorts because I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I would too, but not to play golf.
No, it's like, yeah, you'd be spinning around inside your footwear, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Please indulge me a little moment, podcast listeners. I'm going to have to explain to Joshua that when you play golf, Joshua, you wear golf shoes.
Do you have to?
Yeah.
Do you actually have to?
You don't have to. You don't have to. But you do need grip because you're swinging a big metal thing round your head, and you need to not swing yourself off your feet.
So not flip flops, not clogs.
No
Crocs.
Crocs.
Golf shoes. Crocs would be great.
Crocs definitely wouldn't be great. You would literally swing yourself out of your Crocs every single shot. Do you know what, Joshua? I want you two to come over and stay with me in Ireland. Anyway, I've invited you over a number of times, but
I would happily play golf, but only if I can wear Wellington.
I'm gonna look. I want you to come over, and we will. I mean, what brilliant social media content that is. It's like, we're going to bring the posh boy over from England and we're going to make him play golf in Ireland wearing Crocs for one hole, wellies for another one. Sorry, Wellingtons for another one. Stilettos for another. We're going to vary your footwear to for very, very different, but equally inappropriate footwear for every single hole that you play.
You wait for a hole in one on the first time, and by hole two, you're already in Wellington's two. Going, it's got to be the boots. It's got to be the boots.
That's it.
He'll start a fucking trend, won't he? They'll be like, like the top golfers in the world. Rory McIlroy will be wearing fucking wellies the next time he plays.
Yeah, there might be something about the rubber gives you extra give. You never know. It's extra spring. It's just spring in your turn.
I'm going to edit that bit where you said the rubber gives you extra give. I'm going to edit that and put it back in the one where Baz was talking about giving and receiving.
Put them all close enough together, and it's as seedy as it can be.
Okay, so
before you wrap this up, just to clarify, it's not just rain. It's not just. The word is not just rain hanging in the air as rain would. Instead, it's just. It's people who complain about the rain specifically and also expect that it's constant.
Right, Joshua, what have you got next?
Oh, I'm running bare on my extreme obsessions and arguments that I'm willing to fight for. But I actually learned today, I was really angry to find that on my Christmas advent calendar, there was only 24 windows. 24 windows. Is anybody listening to these words? We all know what day it is. We all know what day it is. Things deserve a climax. Many of things. Let's not overdo what things, but many things deserve a climax. Any good story, any good evening, all these things. Whereas you want me to open my Christmas can. You want me to open my advent calendar on the 24th in the morning, and then go, oh, what? Should I just keep it fucking here? So just keep it there, as it literally belongs in the recycling at that point. The magic is the veil is gone, and in fact now I think about it, you've actually brought my spirit down. You brought my spirit down because the thing that I've been working on is gone, and I've got 24 hours until anything takes over. I'm really I've actually learned today how passionate I am about this.
I'm sure that advent calendars used to have 25 double doors at the end. I'm sure it used to.
Some of them do. This is a thing, some of them do have 25, but the vast majority have 24.
The best thing about an advent calendar, particularly with the one that's got chocolate in it, because they all do now. The best thing about an advent calendar is realizing that you've not opened it for 3 days and you get 3 chocolates in one. That's the best thing.
Literally,
that's just careless. That's just bloody careless. You monsters, you Grinches, you Christmas monsters. What's wrong with you?
So I literally did that thing today where we realised it was 3 days since we opened them. And then I was like, well, actually, look, as we do this so regularly, why don't we eat 3 days worth of chocolates and now eat the next 3 days so we don't have to open the calendar for another 3 days?
Oh, my God, man. Who am I talking to? This is, I mean, it's nearly treason. It's nearly treason. It's not quite because we're not so Catholic, but we're nearly there, and that's outrageous. That's you're meddling with time, Baz. Time should never. Have you not seen Back to the Future? Have you not seen these things? You can't fuck with time.
Yeah. So, are you telling me that if Baz eats his chocolates out of sync, then if he looks at a photo of him and his wife, like he's going to start disappearing out of it because he's eating his advent calendar too quickly?
Actually, lads, this is a really bloody good idea for a time traveling advent calendar. You accidentally eat forward. Maybe the next Christmas Netflix smash hit stars us, and it stars us accidentally getting a bit drunk and having 5 days.
That's
in the
it.
future.
What a brilliant idea!
Well,
Who do we contact? Who do we contact to pitch this idea?
There's got to be someone. There's got to be someone. Zach will know someone.
Can I be the villain that eats all 24 in the first day?
Yeah, of course you can. Of course you can. It'll be you. But you. But the thing is, we got to catch up with you time wise.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where Joshua was going with this. It was got this.
That'd be amazing.
This really, admittedly, low budget Christmas movie that is going to be is that like you go ahead and you open your advent calendar doors and you somehow go forward in time and we're left behind because I'll probably open a couple and but Joshua's sticking to it. Like, absolutely not.
I'm thinking, how are these bastards winning the lottery every day? How's it going on?
They might be winning the lottery every day and winning a fortune on horse races they know the result of. But at least I'm opening my doors of my advent calendar on the appropriate day.
That's a bloody look, just as the Lord would have it. Come on.
We should have done some research on this and found out like why the advent calendar came to be, because it seems like quite a strange like tradition.
Oh well, I think it comes from something religious in the sense that the 4 Sundays leading up to Christmas are Advent, so I think that would be about sermons, and then obviously, like everything in life, they became commercialized.
I happen to know that the origin of Advent calendars was just so that Cadbury's could sell you about 4 grams of chocolate for £5.
When I was younger, my mum used to take me to Marks and Spencer's on like the 3rd, 4th of December. We used to find stacks of them, and they were all like 30, 25p or something. And that is when I would allow the rules to be broken, because I have one that represents time and space, and I have one that I could just devour in a pathetic, childish way.
You do realise that you could have gone, even though that's much cheaper, I could just buy a bar of fucking chocolate for the same price over there and not have to open all the doors.
How did you expect me to learn to count? This is it. This is how it was done. It's a yearly exercise.
Like while we're here, can we talk about advent calendar disappointment while we're here? So I've got an advent calendar.
If it's a problem with your manhood, absolutely, of course.
We're here for you. We're here for you, brother.
Go on, please.
Come on,
please.
We can get you through this.
I've got an advent calendar which currently has, each day you open it, it's got a bit of chocolate. It's in the shape of something Christmassy. Liz, however, has an advent calendar which has the same chocolate every single day. It's a Lindt ball. If you want to sponsor us, Lindt, then I'm happy to promote this. But so she has the same thing every day.
Just to be clear, Baz is about to fucking slate Lindt. But if you want to sponsor the podcast,
please do.
We'll do a complete retraction next week, and we'll say how much we fucking love Lindt.
Yeah, but so like every day should be different, and then like so in my advent calendar, there's a different shape every day, and they're all sort of like snowmen. They are presents. They're baubles.
They're not Lindor, are they? They're not the high level quality.
Oh no,
these Swiss chocolatiers haven't been whisking away,
Yeah, Lid's fantastic, by the way. So Liz has got the same thing every single day for 24 days. I've got a different one from Galaxy.
I'm not being funny, Baz, but having the same thing in your advent calendar every single day, it's like someone just buying you one of those bags of Maltesers that you get at the cinema and only letting you eat one a day. What's the fucking point?
That's exactly it. Yes.
I think all you should do is just like January said, look, Liz, I've bought you another advent calendar. Are you ready? And just get a family bag of Starburst. It's like one a day for all of January. Treat yourself. The different flavors and everything. This one, it's much better than the last one you had.
I think we've worked out that you just want a Wellington boot full of chocolate on Christmas Day, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. As long as it doesn't damage the boot.
That's it. Is that where you hang up? You don't do stocking. Hang up a Wellington boot by the fireside.
A hunter
Absolutely.
running to boot.
Oh,
Of course.
Baz, that's all I've got. I've only got hunters, Baz.
Well, if you're not going to hang it up by the little strap, how are you going to hang it up?
Stockings are for women, lads. Stockings are for women. Boots are for men.
And on that bombshell. And on that
Also
bombshell, we're going to leave it. That's where we're going to leave it for this week. Thanks for your time, Joshua. I really appreciate it. Thanks again,
Thank you
Baz.
so much.
As always, thanks for being here. Thanks very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Joshua.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.